Buckle up, folks. This podcast is all about diving into the good, the bad, and the ugly of our bodily, spiritual, and mental experiences. If you are not prepared to challenge your assumptions, laugh at yourself, laugh at me, or maybe even shed a tear or two, then you might want to look elsewhere. But if you're ready to get real, get honest, and get a little weird, then welcome to the Just Chrissy podcast. I'm your host, Chrissy McCammon. Welcome back, friends. This is Chrissy, the host of Just Chrissy and owner of Rooted in Wellness. Yesterday, we talked about grounding, and in the teaching that I listened to from Mr. Brecca, he mentioned these grounding mats, and they were like $5,000. And so I started looking around, and I had PEMF mats in my store, and that were less than $1,000. And so I really started digging in, like trying to figure out like what the difference was between them, why I would want one over another. And I come to the conclusion for like a personal mat, I do like the TheraPro that is in my Get Healthy store, because it doesn't just ground you, it does several things. And so for those of you who don't have an infrared sauna, for those of you who don't have the red lights, for those of you who don't have a TENS unit, this mat is really nice. So we talked yesterday about how about grounding and how important it is. And we talked about the nanometer meter, which measures extremely small things. And that is an extremely small meter. We talked about how light frequency, the lower the on the nanometer, the lower is visible to the eye. So that's why we see red, orange, blue, etc. We talked about the infrared. The infrared is between 600 and goes much higher, maybe 10,000 on that nanometer. And it so I guess let's start with this. I'm talking about the mat that TheraPro makes, that's a grounding mat, an infrared, and a red light therapy. So we talked about the infrared and how it penetrates deeply into the body. And then we talked about the red light therapy that is basically surface. And then we talked about grounding, which this mat has 9 different settings that do different things. So I really think it's like a good bang for your buck. You know, it's a good buy. So their mat, the infrared on it goes, the nanometer goes 600 to 10,000. It stays on for 12 hours, and it goes up to 155 degrees, but it's not hot to the touch. And you don't have to stay on it 12 hours, but you can, because they have options. Like there's one that's 5 foot, and then there's one that's 30 inches. I'll talk more about that then. Actually, I'll talk about it now. The 5 foot one, you can lay on your bed and use it. Because I was thinking like, okay, so I'm already doing the infrared sauna. I go work out. You know, like if you got an hour and a half already invested in your wellness, like fitting this in so that it's frictionless, like how do you do that? Well, so I talked to TheraPro, and you can use the 5 foot mat on your bed. And so my thought was like when you're laying down to go to sleep at night, you could turn on the different functions. And then when you wake up in the morning, you could, while you're laying there, you could turn on the different functions, because the infrared, they recommend, or not the infrared, you could sleep on that. Like the infrared could be on like all night long. Then the red light therapy, it's like a panel that has 21 lights, and both the 5 foot and the 30 inch. By the way, the 30 inch, what seemed really frictionless about that is that you could put it on the back. If you're someone who sits in a chair a lot, like an office chair, or you just have a place that you sit, you could put this 30 inch panel. It has straps, and you could put that right on the back of your chair and have the convenience of being able to get that 30 minutes in twice a day, because you're getting that 30 minutes is grounding your cells. It's creating that space in your cells that we talked about yesterday. But it only lasts about 12 hours. So you have to do it twice a day for 30 minutes. The professional one that's 5,000, the one that I would probably put in my office if I had it for clients, you only have to be on 8 minutes, but you still have to do it twice a day. So, but it doesn't do anything else. And it's $5,000. So in my mind, the TheraSage is a much better deal because it's doing multiple things. So anyway, so it has the infrared in there. It can stay on up to 12 hours, so you could sleep on it. It gets up to 155 degrees, but it's not hot to the touch. However, it is still penetrating your cells, deep into your cells. Then it has the red light therapy, which is a 21 light panel. It's on the 5-footer and the 30-inch one. It goes from 600 to 680 nanometer. But your skin needs to be within 6 inches. So that's why with a lot of the red light therapy, you have to be like, have it on you. But if you're sitting in your chair or laying on it, you're getting it. And then also know that there's so even though say your mat's 30 inches or your mat's 5 feet, off of that 30 inches or 5 feet, there is still like a 6-inch fall off. So that means that the lights are penetrating 6 inches past the edges of that mat. And then you have the PEMF settings. And there are 9 different settings on here, which we'll talk about them. But it stays on 30 minutes. They recommend 2 sessions, like I said, per day. And the fall off on that is 12 inches from the mat. And you can check it with an EMF meter, which is pretty cool. And then they have gems also inside these mats. So when you look at the 5-footer, it's 20 pounds because it has all these gems in it that weigh it down. And we'll talk about the gems. And then the 30-inch. So if you're someone who is maybe not as mobile or has a harder time, you may want to consider like a 30-inch. It's only 11 pounds, and it comes with the strapping system so that you can put it on the back of your chair. Now, that 5-footer is $975 currently at the recording of this podcast, and the 30-inch is $546. Of course, if you set up an account in my store and let me know, I'll give you 10% off, so it can be a little bit cheaper, but don't order it until I give you that 10% off. So you can sleep on it. You can cover it with a thin material also. So if you get the larger mat, you can cover it with a thin material, and even when you're wearing like clothes, like in the office chair, like just wearing some thin material helps it penetrate easier. To clean it, you would just need a lightly dampened. You don't want anything that's soaked, but you just use a lightly dampened cloth. And then they don't recommend the PEMF or the grounding mat for people who have pacemakers and defibrillators because it is giving you an electrical charge. So if you have either of those, it's not recommended for that. But you could use the other parts of the mat for other things, just not the PEMF. And I'll explain what that PEMF and those different settings are here in a minute. And then if you have titanium implants, you're okay. But if you had something a long time ago that's not titanium, then you need to be careful because it can heat up that metal. And then also heart stents. If you have heart stents, that you're okay with that too. So let's talk about the benefits, first of all, of the gemstone therapy. They have different gemstones in there. Let me look here. Okay. So the gemstones help with chronic pain, fatigue, joint pain, insomnia, hypertension, anxiety and stress, and mood. And I know, like, I've not really ever gotten into the gemstones, but I know people buy them for their babies when they're teething. It's helpful. So, I mean, I'm not dismissing the gemstones. I just don't know a lot about them. The negative ions. So in nature, like after a thunderstorm, you'll smell the smell in the air. That's your negative ions. When you go to the ocean, there's a lot of negative ions. They're abundant in nature. So tree, ground, water, they're molecules or atoms that have gained extra negatively charged electrons, which help protect you from the damage of free radicals, which we've never talked about free radicals, but that's the bad stuff. They have been shown to improve mood, reduce stress, relax the body, increase serotonin production, increase immune cell activity, boost energy, improve sleep, and much more. And so they're saying that like the negative ions that are released from the gemstones can also support the body by assisting with the detoxification. And negative ions can attract harmful positive ions and remove them from the environment and body. And then another benefit too is like the far infrared technology that's emitted from the gemstones can penetrate 4 to 6 inches below the surface level of the skin, boosting circulation in surrounding muscles and tissues, providing more oxygen to the body, better blood flow, improved oxygenation, encourage accelerated healing, and decrease stiff and pain. And it says when the gemstones are heated, and I know that when I go see my friend Carol, she uses like brown, black stones. But when they are placed on the skin at pressure points and activated, and the body relaxes, and that is true. It does relax. I think it's the heat coming off of it. So the gems that are in this are the amethyst. The amethyst. I'm not saying it right, but it's for reducing pain, improving endocrine function, and promoting a sense of calm. Then you have natural jade, and that is it's believed that it's called the kidney stone because they believe it dissolves pain in the kidneys, among other organs, and it can provide benefits of grounding and aid in detoxification, support the immune system, and maintain the health of eyes and the nervous system. And then there is natural black tourmaline, and it is associated with increased vitality, energy, and calming. It also is known as a revitalizing stone because it is electrical and can help recharge the body when heated, making it perfect for the healing mat. And then they have its paramagnetic earth materials. And I thought this was interesting because I had never heard of this before. Paramagnetic materials such as soil in your garden aren't magnetic, but are mildly attracted by a magnet. This means they are energetically aligned with the Earth's magnetic field and can accept Earth's powerful healing energy. And that sounds very new agey, but we do have to be balanced when we get out of sync with God's ways. We are not doing well. So balancing that it's a whole nother podcast actually. So they combine these specific stones and really assist the other functions of the mat. So the PEMF is different wavelengths, and so don't let this like get overwhelming. But so there are different wavelengths. So like there's 9 settings just on that part of the mat itself. And the first one improves deep sleep. The second one is what is grounding. It's healing blood circulation and lowers inflammation. The third one, so these are all like P1, P2, P3. The third setting lowers stress, reduces anxiety and depression, increases creative thinking. The fourth one helps with alertness. The fifth one improves memory. The sixth one is healing blood circulation, pain relief. The seventh one is healing blood circulation and pain relief also. The next level is the 8th one. Oh, so there's like a level 1 and a level 2 on those two. Sorry. The 8th one is healing blood circulation, pain relief level 3. And then the 9th one is they will do like a shuffle. So it will take all of those, and just for a specific amount of time, you'll get a little bit of each one of those. They are all different megahertzes. So like which is a frequency, which we talked about our bodies being electric, right? So I don't discount that. The red light has amazing properties too. It improves mitochondrial function, increases energy levels, increase collagen production, increase melatonin production, supports sleep, deeper sleep, increased blood flow, reduced inflammation, improved mood, reduced hair loss, reduced pain in the joints. And then, of course, the full spectrum infrared. We're coming back to that again because I love that. Detoxification, pain relief, reduced muscle tension, increased relaxation, improved circulation, weight loss support, clear skin, and immune. And then the TENS, TENS, is a non-invasive way to provide short-term relief for pain. So it's electrical impulses that now this is in that PEMF setting. So if you had like the heart defibrillator and all that this you would not want to do this because it's putting electric into the body. But it can help with pain relief, increase circulation to an area, reduce muscle tension, spasms, promotes relaxation, deeper sleep, reduced anxiety, depression, and improved range of motion. However, you don't want to use TENS on your face, head, or throat, on swollen, red, infected, or inflamed skin, on or near cancerous lesions, open wounds, rashes, or skin that does not have normal sensation, your backbone or the front and back of your chest at the same time, because remember, you're using electrical pulses. Do not use it while bathing or showering or sleeping, and keep out of reach of children. So there's a whole lot here about this mat that I love. I know we've run over. I'm really, really sorry, but I wanted to tell you about these options because I think if you're interested in them, they're great options. I'm going to link the information in the description of this podcast. So if you want to go out and look at it, I do have them both in my store. Again, if you want them, set up your account. Don't order until you get a hold of me, and I'll give you a 10% discount to save you some money. But I think for a personal grounding, plus 50,000 other things, it's a great little mat to have, and I would highly recommend it.